Module 14. Selection. If you've been working through the units, you will have used selection already, but we're going to look at it a bit closer here. Selection means testing a condition and then running code based on the result of that condition. In Python, the condition can only result in true or false. Think about an everyday situation, opening a car door. If the car door is unlocked, you can open it. If the car door is locked, you can't open it. If there is food in the fridge, then you can eat it. Otherwise, you can't. If you are 17 years old or older, you can learn to drive a car in the UK. Otherwise, you can't. The basic level of an if statement has one condition. If in lowercase, then the condition, which we'll look at later, followed by a colon. The code underneath needs to be indented or tabbed in. It shows that it belongs in this if statement. This code only runs if the condition is true. The condition usually involves some kind of comparison, for example checking if two values are the same, if one is greater than the other, smaller than, etc. The symbols are shown in the table. These are known as the relational operators, and they are similar to those you should know from maths. The only difference is equals and not equals. Equals has two equals signs. This is to make it different from the assignment character, which is a single equals sign. Not equals an exclamation mark, followed directly by an equals. On either side of the operator, you need a character, number, value, or identifier. Here are three conditions. The first one is checking if Bob is the same as Bob in capitals. This will return false, so the line below would not run. If 2 is greater than 4, this is also false. The third one uses two variables. If the value in num1, 2, is less than the value in num2, 4, this is true, so the line below would run. The else comes below the if condition. Else is in lowercase, followed by a colon. Note there is no condition. The code beneath the else will run if the condition in the if is false. So in this case, if the condition is true, the first indented line will run. If it's false, the second will run. Here's an example. If lowercase v is equal to uppercase V, then it will output equal. If it isn't, it will output not equal. So far, there has only been one condition. You can have as many conditions as you want, as long as you have an elif for each one. Elif stands for else if. After the elif, you have the second condition and then a colon. The code underneath is indented because this only runs when the elif condition is true. You can put several elifs and even an else at the end if you need to. For example, in this code, there are two elifs and an else. Just remember that the else always comes last and will run if none of the conditions are true. In this code, the program checks the first condition on line 5. If this is false, it checks the elif on line 7. If it is true, it runs the code on line 8 and then skips the else and jumps to line 11. If line 7 is false, so both conditions are false, then the else on line 9 will run and its code on line 10. You can put if statements inside if statements. You just need to make sure you get the tabs in the right place. For example, here if condition 1 is true, then line 4 runs. If this is true, line 5 runs. Otherwise, the elif on line 6 runs. If this is true, run line 7. The inner else on line 8 only runs if condition 1 is true and neither condition 2 nor condition 3 are true. Look at the indents. Line 3 and 10 are level. This means they are joined together. Line 4, 6 and 8 are level. This means they are joined together. A common problem is finding the largest of a series of numbers. One way of doing this is by using a nested if. Line 7 checks if value 1 is larger than value 2. If it is, then it runs line 8 to check if it is also larger than value 3. If both are true, then line 9 runs. This repeats for value 3. If neither value 1 or value 3 are the largest, then value 2 must be the largest.